Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the First Brick Property Podcast. This is the first episode of 2021. My name is KM, I'm the director of First Brick Property Buyers Agency, and the purpose of the podcast is to bring a casual style show to discuss all things property, with education being the key. So whether you're a beginner or a seasoned investor, we believe this show will be able to further your knowledge and really remove any barriers to getting involved in the exciting and fun world of property. So today I have a very, very special guest with me to discuss something super important. My first guest of 2021, so we bring out the big guns. Yeah. Before we get into what we're talking about, let me introduce my guest. So my guest for today is a very experienced property investor, which we'll get into. He's the founder of Investment Window Property Buyers Agency. He's a family man, three teenage kids, and he's got an incredibly amazing property story, which I'm really excited to get into. He's a big fan of the cricket. My guest for today, Michael Martin.
Thank you, KM. You legend. Thank you very much. I'm well.
How you going? Good?
Good. Happy to be here.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, 2021. Let's hope it's better.
Yeah, that's it. How's the start of the year been?
Yeah, busy. Trying to get out there and help out as many clients as we can, as you are. So we're all keeping busy. It's not much stock on the market at the moment. So
it's nothing really.
Yeah.
It's tight.
Pretty quiet.
It's tight. It's hard to get good
tight,
properties.
not quiet.
Yes,
tight.
That's
right. Yeah.
Last time I saw you, we were in the city at a little event, and you're off to the SCG to watch the cricket.
I was.
What's going on, mate?
I went to a 2020 game and saw Australia thrash India.
Yeah.
And then, but the more important form of cricket, which is Test match cricket, India have really shown us up. Yeah. They've been fantastic.
What went wrong?
What went wrong?
I just saw I saw the highlights. I saw the score at the end of the day because no one's really got time to sit there all day watching it.
Well, I always have it in the background. I love Test cricket. Yeah. I love it over T20 and one day. Australia, we just couldn't bowl them out. No. They were amazing defence. Yeah, and we didn't score enough runs, and our bowling attack wasn't good enough from the third and fourth test. So that's the way it is. So that's the end of the test matches for this summer. Yeah,
and, they should have called you up.
Well, I'm down in C Reserve. Yeah. So I'm not sure.
That's not bad.
Well, that's the lowest grade. So,
there's definitely lower. Me and my mates. My mates said, let's play backyard cricket.
Yeah.
And then it turned from backyard cricket into park cricket. So we went to the park and we set up some stuff. And it was we were bad. Yeah. We couldn't throw the ball or bowl the ball. Sorry.
So there's
the problem.
There's your problem.
So we got the wrong terminology.
Yes.
We couldn't bowl it. Whoever had the bat was just swinging nothing.
Hit and miss
every time. And then we kind of just got bored and left everything there and just left. And so there's definitely worse than C Reserve.
Yeah. Well, at least I do get the whites on.
Yeah, that's good.
I might be there for the drinks sometime after the game.
That's pretty much. That's why we did it.
It's definitely a social event.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So no one wants to hear about cricket.
No.
Not on this podcast.
Let's move on to my.
So we'll get into the episode and we'll get into your story.
Yeah.
So many podcasts around property, business, investment.
Yeah.
It's always just talking about the positives, right? And talking about the upside. That's only really half the story, isn't it?
Well, that's exactly right. That's what I've listened to your podcast and lots of other property podcasts and heard countless stories of successful investors and thought far out I'd really like to be like that. And then I've drawn back on my own investing and thought far out I've made so many mistakes.
Yeah.
Why don't they talk about losers out there, not just the property winners? So, I've had the right intentions, but I've made a lot of the mistakes that I think a heap of your listeners and people out there have made. So
you're 100% right. And I think part of the reason is because a lot of people don't want to talk about their mistakes.
Which was me for forever.
Yeah.
Well, and then I was like, no, I've got to own them. And
well, Mick, you've been generous enough to tell me that you're happy to flaunt your mistakes. But not that. I read a lot of books about very successful, wealthy people and whatnot. And the common theme in every single book is, if you don't make mistakes, if you haven't failed, you can't succeed. Yeah. It's just simply, if you haven't done it wrong, you can't get it right.
100%. biggest lessons you learn in life is from the mistakes that you make. So
100%.
Then you learn, hopefully, not to make those mistakes again.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I guess today's episode is going to be surrounding your story, and I guess we'll just go through from start to finish, and then as you're going along. If I think of something, we'll ask you. Yeah. But I guess this is the mistakes podcast.
Mistakes. What not to do.
What not to do. Yes. So do you want to tell us, I guess, a bit about yourself, how you started in property world?
I'm one of 3 kids. I've lived in the same suburb my whole life, and I'm the youngest of 3. When my brother and sister both got married when they were like 22, 23-ish, and they bought a property to move into. So I was like 2 years younger there was 2 years between the 3 of us, and so therefore I was kind of exposed to them buying property, and my parents always encouraged us to be big savers. So I always had 2 or 3 casual jobs growing up, so I always had not lots of money, but I always, I wish I had lots of money. The bank account was always growing. Yeah. So I would have one job as my social money, then the other jobs I'd save. Yeah. So when my brother and sister bought their houses, I kind of got the bug and thought I should buy something.
Yeah.
Which is, that's what I did when I was 21, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't say this.
You don't need to say
it was before 2000. I bought my first property when I was living at home with mum and dad. Yeah. When I was, still living at home. I bought it for $160,000, and the rent was, I think it was about $230 a week. So it was pretty good yield. It was paying for itself.
Yeah.
4-bedroom villa, so it was perfect. So that was my first purchase.
And that was in Sydney.
That was in the next suburb from where I live. Okay, yeah. So that was in Revesby.
Oh, yeah. So, southwest Sydney.
Yeah, southwest.
Very good spot.
Yeah.
Revesby's gone nuts at the moment.
Yeah. The last couple of years, it's certainly picked up. Yeah. Actually, since about 2013, it's really it's picked up.
A lot of gentrification, a lot of development happening.
Yeah, 100%. As the west grows, maybe people who are already in the west, their properties are going up, and they're moving closer to the city, which... Like Southwest,
yeah, for sure. So you started off, you've got the right principles around money, I guess, instilled in you from your parents. You're saving money, and you buy your first property at 21 for $160,000, a 4-bedroom villa, in a very hot spot of Revesby.
Yes.
So I'm thinking, well, you haven't done anything wrong.
No, and then I kept going good. I found a beautiful woman who became my wife. We got married. About 3 or 4 years after I bought the first one, we got married, and it was like, do we move into that property or do we buy something else? So sort of like with our combined salaries, we bought a house for $375 in Panania, which is the neighbouring suburb of Revesby. So bought that and kept the investment property.
Yeah.
So all humming along nicely.
Now you got 2 properties. You got a wife.
Yeah.
Happy days.
We've
just turned into the year 2000.
Yes.
The world didn't come to an end.
That's right. Olympics are going. Everything's looking great.
Happy days.
Yes.
We're building up the drama here.
I know. And then 2003, about 2003, we had our first baby, and the investment property had gone from 160 to about 240.
Yeah.
And we're paying down debt on the home, so everything's going good. And I thought, should we sell the investment property and put that increased value that it's gone up onto our principal place of residence? And got some advice from some relatives, and anyway, that's what we did. We sold the investment property for $240, so it had gone up 50% in 6 years, which is it's all right.
It's not decent.
Better than doing nothing. And so then we put that profit into the family home, which is good. And you never go broke making a profit, so that's good. However, buying the investment property should be a longer term goal than holding it for 6 years. It should be, you should see at least one cycle minimum, or ideally 2 or 3 cycles, like really long term.
Yeah, for sure. So would you call that your first mistake?
Yeah, the first mistake is definitely selling too early, because now in 2020 or 2021, it's worth about 800,000.
Yeah.
So
hefty
selling to take an 80 grand profit,
yeah,
and then you got expenses. If I held it for 10 years, it was fully paying for itself anyway. So there was no urgency to sell it. I could have well and truly been debt free on our family home.
Yeah.
Even if I held it for 10 years, as let alone 20 years.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know what I was going to say there, but I should have. Yeah, that's the first big mistake. Taking a small profit instead of holding for the long term.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So you mentioned cycles and holding it for at least 1, if not 2 or 3 cycles.
Yeah.
How long would you define a cycle?
Well, back when I was reading the books back in like the late 90s, a cycle was classified as like about 7 years, but I think in reality it's more like 10 years, anywhere between 7 and 12 years, depending on which part of the cycle you buy in.
Long enough for it to be a long-term play.
Yeah. A cycle is classified as if the property doubles in value. So, over that, it's about a 10-year period, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so you still made a profit.
Yeah.
But obviously the mistake there was you could have made a lot more profit.
Could have made, a lot more profit instead of just making... Yeah. That's right.
Okay. Yeah. So you've sold that investment property, you've dumped a bunch of money into the principal place of residence, into your home.
Yep.
What's happening next?
Looking good.
Yep.
About 2 years later, or maybe, so that was 2003, I think we sold. So then 2004, 2005, about that time, realised, made a mistake. Property market's still going up a little bit. I thought, God's sake, what did we sell that for? Like, the idea of buying the property was to try to generate some wealth for our fast track our retirement type of thing. So we went to a few seminars and got the property bug again. I got back, I kept buying books. I was a big reader of property books back then. And we bought, I think my sister was buying a property at that time in Brisbane. It was a Mirvac development in just out of Brisbane. So we bought an investment property there. I think it was maybe 280,000 or something, which is cheap, not when you think now. So that we got back into the property market in, might have been late 2004, early 2005 as an investment.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Just before you move on, just thought of something. So you mentioned just there before you bought the Brizzy property, you realised you stuffed up.
Yeah.
And the property was going up.
Yeah.
And so when you decided to sell your first investment property, were you getting outside influence? Were people talking, saying, hey, the property market, it's peaked, or you're not going to make too much money, sell, or was it just a kind of...
Yeah, I think it was just the personal circumstances. I couldn't, I can't recall if there was too much stuff on the news about the property market overheating or about to fall. Although if you always listen to the news, there's always going to be a headline one way or the other.
That's right.
In the same week, you'll have one that's going to say it's going to crash, the other's going to... And that's what I was going to say earlier. When the reason we sold to get the money out of our first investment property, to put off the home, back then we didn't really... It wasn't widely known that you could draw on equity out of an increase. So if the property's gone from 160 to 240... Like nowadays, you can go to the bank and get refinanced to take the increased equity out. That wasn't common back then, or if it was, I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
But I think in early 2000s, it wasn't common.
Yeah. So, it wasn't a widely known feature of your loan.
Packages. Yeah, that's right.
That's fair enough. Okay, so you've got the bug again. You've purchased a property in Brizzy.
Yeah.
And what's happening then?
Okay, it's going good. Going good.
So that was an off the plan?
Yeah. So that was off the plan. That was off the plan. Something I don't encourage these days.
Okay. Yeah.
So that didn't turn out to be a mistake.
Yeah.
However, part of it is a mistake.
All right.
So that's ticking along nicely. Got a tenant in there straight away, no issues, and we've got the bug. So I think I saw an ad in the paper back when I catch a train and read the paper every day about property investing. So I rang this guy up and he came round and saw myself and my wife. So this is, I think, the year after the Brisbane.
Yeah.
So it might be 2006 perhaps. he sold us on a house and land package in outer Townsville.
Okay.
So we're thinking, okay, we're diversifying.
Yeah.
Got sold the negative gearing talk, even though we weren't really high income earners. But we were gullible, it seems. So we bought a duplex. I think it was only $160,000 again, so it was cheap. Roughly about that price, about $160,000. So we bought our second property, first one up in Townsville, outer Townsville. Off the plan again. Yeah. Things are ticking along nicely.
How's the rent with that property?
Yeah,
because that would have been a decent rent.
Yeah. I think both properties were about 5.5%. So
okay. Yeah. So he sold you on the negative gearing, but the house was positive.
Yeah. And I didn't even pick it up.
Yeah, fair enough.
Seriously. Yeah. But however, interest rates were in the 7% then.
So it's much a bit higher.
Yeah. Well, they were in I think we'd fixed one for 7 and the variable was in the low 6s maybe. Yeah. And then in so the next year, which might have been 2006, 2007, we really got the bug. Rung up this the salesman called us.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, wow, yes. He's saying, your first property we got you in Townsville, it's gone up. It's now worth about $220 because it was originally $160 or thereabouts. He goes, do you want to, I'll come round and look at buying again.
Yeah, well, $80,000 in 1 year is not bad.
We're thinking, okay, this is great.
Yeah.
So then, little did we know that it's because they've got a development and they're pushing the prices up themselves.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he comes over and goes through the sales pitch again. It's on a duplex.
Yeah.
And we say, okay, great. I'll buy 2.
Yeah.
Sign me up. Idiot. He's just thinking ching ching.
Yeah.
As we're signing. So I think the second and third ones in Townsville, which were our third and fourth overall, I think that they were maybe $260,000 or $270,000. So they were a little bit more because I think they were 3-bedroom ones as opposed to the other was a 2-bedroom.
Yeah.
So anyway,
that's still out of Townsville.
Yes, in this new development in outer Townsville.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not even within Townsville.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you've bought 3 properties out of Townsville now?
Yep, 3 in outer Townsville, 3 duplexes in outer Townsville, and
from the same
slippery salesman. Yes.
Yeah, that's what you call him, slippery salesman.
Yes.
But it looked like you've made a bit of money.
Well, everything was looking good. The Brisbane had gone up. The first one that we bought had gone up, which then gave us the confidence to buy the second and third ones in Townsville. So it was all looking good. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've written you were sold the buy brand new, get the negative gear benefits. Yeah. And did the property move in the right direction? When did you decide that this was a mistake?
It was looking good. We had tenants. Brisbane, we had a tenant all the time. In Townsville, they were rented most of the time.
Yeah.
It was pretty good up until, I think, maybe the start of 2008, when kind of the GFC rumbles first started.
Yeah.
And then Townsville was pretty heavy reliant on mining.
Yeah.
So then we started losing tenants, and then we had to get air conditioners put in. Yeah. Things started breaking, rent started going down.
Yeah.
So we were, for example, getting $280 a week rent, thereabouts. I can't remember exactly. Then we'd get a call from the agent saying, like, they've moved out, we can't find anyone. It'd be no one in it for 3, 4, 5 weeks. And then they say, okay, you're going to have to put the rent down to $250. So every time I'd get a call from the Townsville agent, I'd feel sick in the guts.
Yeah.
And think, bloody hell, what's going on now? So the agent would always call and say they need an air conditioner. If you want to get a tenant in, you need to put an air conditioner in.
Yeah.
The tenants called and they said, such and such is broken. We need to put a new kitchen in. We need this, that, and the other. So it was just like a constant money pit.
Yeah.
And my wife would ask for or not ask, she doesn't have permission, but would say, she wanted to put new floorboards down or wants to put a new kitchen in. I'm like, we can't afford it. Like, we keep giving all this money to the investment properties.
Fixing the other.
So
the other house is getting a kitchen.
That's right. So it was pretty damn frustrating.
For sure. So 2008, GFC kind of starts up and there's problems. That's kind of when you're realizing this may have been not the best choice.
Yeah. And in 2008, early 2008, interest rates were going up as well. I think it was in the high nines, some of our rates. So we obviously we didn't get the best advice as well. So,
of course.
We kind of got screwed over a little bit. But
when you compare, I mean, currently high nines, you don't even think we'll ever hit the nines again.
No, it's not going to happen in the next 10 years, that's for sure.
No, interest rates now, you can get 2.5, even less than 2 sometimes. On your own occupiers and things like that. So high nines, it's a lot of interest.
It was pretty scary. And then at the end of 2008, at the height of the GFC, I've worked in financial markets my whole life. So they got hardest, or one of the industries that got hardest hit anyway, GFC. So I lost my job in GFC in December 2008, which was not the best. My wife was, I think, working 2 or 3 days a week because our kids were in preschool or primary. I'm not sure, they were only young. So then the Townsville properties were then only being rented out about probably 70% of the time. So it really was negative year in then.
We were. You're getting your tax deductions.
But, however, the shining light, I guess, was the Brisbane property had gone up. From, I think it was about 150, 180 grand had gone up in value. So that was really good. I was thinking, okay, good. At least we've made some money there to offset the
losses.
The crap in Townsville that we had. On paper anyway. So then we thought I'd lost my job. It took me a couple of months to get a job. And then when I did get the job, it took, I was on less pay. My pay was probably about 40% less than what I was on prior. So that was a bit of a double whammy. So then my wife had to go back to work full time. I was on less money. We were funding these crappy Townsville properties, which were hardly being rented out, and we still had the mortgage on them. So we made the stupid decision to sell the Brisbane property. So we sold the good property to fund the crap properties.
So obviously, mistake there. Why didn't you? Did the thought, I guess, cross your mind to sell the Townsville properties?
Looking back, I can't really remember why we didn't, but I'm thinking because Townsville had been hit pretty hard in the GFC because the mining, so the property prices had come down. But I didn't look at the bigger picture that Brisbane was a better long-term hold as opposed to Townsville being a longer-term hold. So the Brisbane property that we ended up selling was good because we made like 150,000 or whatever, which you definitely can't sneeze at. It's a very good profit.
It's a good return.
But we never had any issues with that property. It was good. So
good tenants.
In hindsight, it was,
no renos.
And it was only like, I think, like 8 Ks from Brisbane. So it was actually a really good location. And now, like, I think we sold, what did I say? We bought it for about 270, about that. So then I think we sold it for about the low 4s. Or mid 4s, 440 maybe. And now that property's worth the high 7s.
Okay. What suburb was that?
Cannon Hill.
Oh yeah, Cannon Hill.
Yeah.
Top suburb.
Yeah.
It's very nice. Very close to the city.
Exactly. The location is absolutely beautiful. For sure. So that stupid mistake number 2. Selling a good property to fund a bad property.
For sure.
And however, that might not be mistake number 2 because mistake number 2 is buying off the plan, in my view. Getting. Well, you can look at that both ways because the Brisbane property went really good, which was off the plan, which was by a reputable building company, Mirvac.
Yeah.
Whereas the ones in Townsville were by not so reputable building companies.
Okay.
Yes.
Just
names. Yeah.
Before moving on, I guess I'd like to touch on that or ask your opinion because people might be, me and you we're in the industry, we have our thoughts and I think me and you have the same, I guess, ideas around off the plan. But someone might be listening to this and say, well, why is off the plan not so good?
Not so good. Well, my opinion on that is if you're buying, in my circumstances, it was a new development. So the developer makes their cut, the builder makes his cut, and the salesman makes his cut.
Yeah.
And then the sucker from Sydney who buys the property in Brisbane or in Queensland, interstate, is paying for the developer's margin, the builder's margin, and the salesman's 10 grand commission.
Yeah.
So we bought 3 off this one salesman, so we gave him at least 30 grand in commissions where, so it takes, if you're buying an established property, you're paying fair price. You're not paying any margins built in because it's an established property. You're bidding against other people. Correct. If you're buying off the plan, my opinion is especially for an investment property, you're paying too much because you're paying to have all the niceties in the property for the tenant to live in.
Yeah.
And that's not reflected in the comparable sales.
For sure. Yeah. You're paying, well, the guy that's building it needs to get paid.
That's right.
You're going to pay him. And you, like you said, you're paying for the new shiny lights. And bench tops and whatnot. And so I agree. Yeah. I agree. Usually where they're being built as well, there's a lot more being built. So scarcity is quite low.
That's right.
There's a lot of supply.
Yep, supply demand. Yep.
So that doesn't help. And probably the complete opposite in terms of demand is what was a problem in Townsville, especially out of Townsville, is no demand.
There's abundance of land,
yeah,
and the developer has got this parcel of land which is divided up into 100 different parcels and selling them off. There's no reason for Joe Blow to come and buy my property when I'm selling mine for any more than all the neighbours' houses, because they're all exactly the same, all built at the same time.
That's right.
So, that's the thing. You get all these people from Sydney and Victoria buy these properties in Queensland off the plan, and then after 3 or 4 years, it might finally be back to where they paid for it, what they paid for it, and then you start getting quite a few of them start to sell. So it's just constantly putting a lid on the price going up.
100%. So it's, if me and you both had a property there and we were both selling at the same time and I was a bit more desperate for cash, put my price down a bit.
Exactly.
But your property is the same as my property. No one's going to go pay you the extra 5 or 10 grand.
That's right.
This guy's more desperate.
Yeah.
And just,
even though I'm a nicer guy, obviously, they're not going to pay me.
Of course, nicer guy, but... money talks. The numbers don't lie. So so that's good just to clarify the reasoning behind off the plan and probably why Townsville wasn't working out.
Too much. That's right.
But that Brisbane property was in a great location.
Yes.
So I guess it still worked out, which helped you.
Yeah, that's where if you are going to listeners or viewers might want to buy off the plan, and there is a place for them, definitely. But you just have to make sure you do all your checks to make sure that the location ticks the boxes.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, for sure. So you've sold the Brisbane property.
Yeah.
You've done a whole bunch of renovations in these Townsville properties. Yeah. New aircons and new kitchens. And
we're still living in the slums.
And your home, your wife's, where's my kitchen?
That's right. Yeah. Still, yeah. What doing the washing on a board at home because we can't afford a washing machine.
Yeah. So what's happening next?
Okay, the next. So then 2010, 2011, we thought we were getting pretty jack of the constant phone calls from the Townsville agents with complications with tenants or not having a tenant or the issues. So we thought, and my salary still hadn't gone up to the pre-GFC days. So we kind of, money wasn't flush. But so we decided to get rid of one of the Townsville places. So we managed to do that. I think we made just the first one that we bought, which had gone from 160 to 240, I think, or about that roughly. we ended up selling that for, I think, 200 about. Yeah. So after costs, so the property market had come back down a little bit in Townsville. So no, we made 20 grand or whatever, but we covered our costs, which was positive. So then we were just left with 2 Townsville ones.
Yeah.
And then, so that might have been 2011 or 12. Yeah. Then 2014, the property market in Townsville was still very ordinary, and it was never fully tenanted. So, and the rents had come down quite a lot, and then we were just over the investment property saga.
Sick of it.
So we ended up getting rid of them for pretty much the same price as we bought them.
Yeah.
So we lost out on costs.
Yeah.
But overall, so I think the first Townsville one that we bought was in 2005, and then the last one we got rid of was 2015.
Yeah.
So I think, so we bought 3 in Townsville for about 600,000, and after 10 years we sold for pretty much the same value. Yeah. Now, that could be seen as, oh, you were lucky, or what are you whinging about? However, if we bought in Sydney or Melbourne or most other places over that 10-year cycle, they would have gone close to doubling. So,
for sure.
So that buying the 3 off the plan in outer Townsville essentially cost us 600 grand.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That's I just want to sit on this for a sec, not to you know.
Yeah, I'll just get my tissues.
Bring the pain back, but it's 100% right. You know, people saying to you, "Oh, you got lucky or not," but something that we speak about on our show a lot is opportunity cost, and probably the reason why using a buyer's agent is really important is it's very easy to get it wrong.
Oh, I'm an example of that.
There's a saying that property always goes up. It's not true.
No.
And you get the wrong spot, and it's not going up. And then in 10 years, like you said, you have 3 properties, and then 10 years later you sold them for essentially the same thing you paid for. Had you had that in Revesby, or Brizzy, or those good spots like you mentioned,
majority of the main cities throughout the country would have doubled in that period. Yeah.
So it's the opportunity cost is very important, and people just
it's massive. And I was too much of a scab or a sucker or whatever that back then I didn't even know about buyer's agents. They weren't common in Australia. But I would have put my nose up at paying for the service. Whereas like far out when I think about it now, my God, I would have paid bloody 50 grand if to help make me 600 grand.
Of course.
Whereas like a buyer's agent fee is obviously nowhere near that. But like it's just like paying for the advice definitely helps, but you learn from your mistakes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I just wrote something down that came to mind when you were having a chat.
Oh, dear. Yeah.
It just during this 10-year period, did you ever get the urge, or did you ever call that slippery salesman and say, what's going on?
No, I did. I threatened to take him to a current affair.
Okay.
Once. It was, that's right, because I think they had me, they had a finance arm as well. Oh, so they were really slippery. And they had me, they refinanced my loan they refinanced our existing loan on our house when we bought, I think, the first one through them.
Yeah.
And I think we had half of our loan was fixed. So anyway, it was going to be like a $7,000 break fee.
Yeah.
Oof. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, seriously, like, I'm the idiot who didn't realise what I was signing, but I was younger. This was in regard to I got up on regarding ripping us off regarding break fees just so that they could get the home loan business.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't go to the back end of that 10-year period that I held the properties. No, I didn't contact them. They make me feel sick when I think of their company name.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And there's nothing you can do anyway, because it's like, I signed the contract to buy the properties off them, and their business model is developing, building and ripping off Sydney and Melbourne people. So
Yeah.
Just everyone be careful.
Were they wearing white tennis shoes?
No, but they had a lot of grease in their hair. So yeah.
Fair. Did they pick you up from the airport?
No. I know about those.
Yeah, you
instances.
know those guys. Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I won't keep you on those council properties anymore.
Yes.
So 2014, I think you said you've sold pretty much all.
Yeah. So like 2014, 15, we got rid of the last of or maybe 16. 2015, 16, we got rid of the last of the properties and. Kind of, we were happy to be finished with investment property.
Yeah.
Sad and sorry tale. So essentially, the first one I bought was in 97. So essentially, over the 16-year period, I had my original investment property. We bought a home, then we bought 4 other investment properties.
Yeah.
And then we're kind of back to square one.
Yeah.
After almost 20 years.
Yeah.
With still debt on our home.
On your home.
Yeah. So whereas if I just kept the little original one, we'd have no debt and a heap of equity.
Yeah.
So, the advice, I guess, is buy in the right location and don't sell unless you absolutely need to. Because the real wealth is made over the long term.
For sure.
Yeah.
And probably also don't listen to the developer for future predictions.
Yeah.
or advice.
My
ask an external party.
Yeah, do not go to and off the plan a developer full stop in my well, that's what my story says anyway.
Yeah.
I can't tell people what to do. But,
that's it. Well, 2016, you've got your family home, you still got a bit of debt.
Yeah.
Anything happened?
No, then everything's pretty cool then. And then where are we now? 2020. I think about 2017, 18. My wife said to us, because we're not in our what year? We might have been in our early 40s then, late 30s, early 40s. She goes, how are we looking for our retirement?
Yeah.
And I just went, not too bad. All right. And I got some time to myself and thought, bloody hell. Not real good. Nowhere near where we wanted to be.
Yeah.
Especially with my job changes that I'd had. But then that got me thinking, okay, I know it made me realise all the big stuff-ups I've made by selling too early, selling the good property to fund the rubbish ones, buying off the plan. Just made me realise all the money that I've thrown away by the mistakes I've made.
Yeah.
So, but it made me realise that the property is the way to get wealthy if you do it right.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, I'm in my early 40s, or just turned 40. It's definitely not too late to get cracking again.
Yeah.
So then I dusted off all my old books, and a lot of them weren't relevant, and they made me feel sick because all the examples in these books were like of properties worth 180,000 and 220,000. I was thinking, no, you can't buy anything in Sydney for $1 million. Far out. So I bought some new books and did all the reading and did a lot of research, and then I discovered buyer's agents then because I thought, okay, well, I'm going to do it right this time, and I don't mind paying to get the advice to buy in the right location because I can't afford to get it wrong now because I'm now early 40s as opposed to early 20s when I first started.
Yeah.
So that's where I was up to, and then as I spoke to a few different buyer's agents, and it just made me think, far out, this is something that I'd like to do myself.
Yeah.
Because I've got it reignited my passion for property.
Yeah.
After a few years in the wilderness and feeling like I hated property because of the mistakes I made. So, so I just researched and now I'm where I'm at now, trying to help other investors and mainly helping them avoid the mistakes that I've made. So,
Hence the episode.
Hence, that's where I am, and that's why you're listening. So don't make these mistakes,
for sure. So that's a really awesome story, and you said right at the end, these mistakes, you wasted all this money, but like I mentioned at the start, without the mistakes, you don't get it right.
Yeah. I would have hoped the mistakes wouldn't have cost me as much. But
of course. Well,
I'm a glass half full guy.
On the flip side, if it never, if you didn't have those mistakes, you wouldn't have really understood the research or the knowledge.
Well, that's right. And so many people buy something.
Got lucky.
Yeah, and just get lucky. Like I bought, the first property I bought was around the corner from me. Now, if I lived in Townsville and the first property was around the corner from me, I'd still hate property.
That's right.
Yeah, but in parts of Townsville. Anyway. I'm not having to go at Townsville people.
There's some good spots in Townsville.
100%, and it's starting to pick up a little bit now. But
it is.
You've got to be in the right part of that. So
for sure,
I'm not having to go at Townsville. Don't
No. Well, I was just talking to you before the show. We're looking at a few properties for a customer, and Townsville's come up. A few times. It's very certain.
Some parts are ticking some boxes. Rent's starting to go up, and those are markets coming down, and all the boxes that you look for.
So you just got to make sure you're in the right ones.
Exactly right.
Because the wrong ones will send you the wrong way. So I guess we've gone through your story and your mistakes. And you've given a little bit of advice, but if you had to, I guess, just one piece of advice to people listening now regarding property investment or journeys, or even if it's to people who have done mistakes, what would you say to these guys?
It's never too late. I think, and as I've said, my big piece of advice is don't buy something off the plan from a new development unless it's in an area where there's definite growth prospects. And if you do not absolutely need to sell, try to hold on as long as you can, because the real wealth is made by holding for the long term.
Yeah. Cool. So buy and hold.
Buy and hold. It's the boring approach. However,
but it works.
It works.
And don't buy off the plan. But I think as well, also what you said right at the start there is, it's never too late. It's an awesome one. Because even if you stuffed it up before.
And as long as you've got a job, as long as you've got a full-time job and you can service a loan, and you've got at least 10 years of working life ahead of you, it's definitely not too late.
Yeah, for sure.
100%.
Well, I think that's all the questions I'm going to grill you with about your past.
That's it.
I'll let you go home and
no worries,
not think about it. But so thank you so much, Mick, for coming on and sharing the story. Of course, as we mentioned at the start, Mick is now also he's followed his passion in property. He's a buyer's agent running his own business, and I've seen your results. Very good. He's a very good buyer's agent and running a very good buyer's agency business. And so that's Investment Window.
It is Investment Window. Yes.
How can people find you? If
the website investmentwindow.com.au, or on Facebook, or all the socials, LinkedIn, and feel free to give me a like or reach out.
Sure. Well, we'll put your details in the notes as well. So if anyone's lost, just click the links and they'll see you there. And tell him KM sent you. You get a discount.
Yeah, that's it. 100%.
I haven't told him about you. No, but Mick, you run a good business, and like I've said, I've seen your most recent result. You put up the
we had a good deal settle just this week. So we got the client. I got a tenant in, ready to go for week one for this this client. He's super happy.
He's running a tight ship over there, Investment Window. So give him a shout out if you need any help. Also, you can find a lot of our content here from First Brick on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. Just search First Brick Property and we'll pop up everywhere. If you got any questions or topics, or you want us to discuss anything, or you really want Mick to come back and you want me to come off the show, or you want Mick to host it,
special guest.
Send us your requests and whatnot, and we'll get it done. I think Mick will be happy to take over the show. But you can send us an email or message us. Our email is hello@firstbrick.com.au. Also, if you enjoyed the episode, please give us a 5-star review or any kind of review. It's always good to see reviews. Leave a comment, and if you know anyone,
he needs the love.
We need the love. We need it, especially in these times. Everyone's kind of alone. Give us the love. If you know anyone that would like the podcast, pass the pod. Just let one person know, and we'll just keep passing the pod, and then we'll become massive. Hey,
that's it. Onwards and upwards.
We'll just keep educating more people, and that's the whole purpose about the show. So
100%.
Thank you all for listening in. Thank you, Mick. Again.
Thanks, KM. I really appreciate it. It's been nice chatting with you, and you're doing great work out there.
Thank you, mate.
Thanks, man.
Buying property is our passion. Helping you do is our mission. See ya.
Yeah.